Tonight, we're diving into a crisis in the Red Sea that's hitting closer to home than you might expect. Attacks on commercial ships have thrown a vital shipping lane into chaos, threatening the flow of goods and the stability of the global economy. This isn't just about ships, it's about the fragile network that delivers everything from electronics to fuel to your doorstep. What started as isolated incidents has escalated into a global economic emergency, forcing shipping giants to choose between risking their crews or taking a costly detour around Africa. The consequences are rippling worldwide, affecting prices and supply chains everywhere. A disruption in this narrow waterway can spike prices from New York to Tokyo, exposing vulnerabilities in our global supply chain. The free passage of ships long taken for granted is now under threat. Understanding the Red Sea crisis is key to understanding the economic pressures we'll all face in the coming months. Tonight, we'll break down who's behind the attacks, why this waterway matters, and how it's impacting your daily life. This is a story that connects geopolitics to your grocery bill, and it's unfolding right now. The Red Sea has become a battleground, with Houthi rebels from Yemen targeting commercial vessels using missiles, drones, and fast attack boats. Unlike past piracy, these are coordinated high-tech assaults, often aimed at ships linked to Israel or its allies. But the chaos affects everyone. Drones and missiles can strike from afar, while some ships have even been boarded by helicopter. The result? A commercial shipping lane turned conflict zone, with civilian crews at risk. The complexity of global shipping, ships owned, flagged, and crewed by different nations, means no vessel is truly safe. The industry now treats the southern Red Sea and Bab el-Mandeb Strait as a no-go zone. These attacks challenge the freedom of navigation, a cornerstone of global trade. The Houthis, backed by Iran, are leveraging their position to disrupt a major supply route, showing how regional conflict can shake the world economy. The world now faces a critical question: how to respond to this unprecedented threat. The Red Sea is a superhighway for global trade, connecting the Mediterranean and Indian Ocean via the Suez Canal and Bab el-Mandeb Strait. It's a shortcut for ships between Asia and Europe, saving up to 2 weeks compared to sailing around Africa. About 12% of global trade and 30% of container traffic pass through here, including vital energy supplies. When this artery is blocked, global trade slows, causing massive logistical and financial headaches. Companies have built their business models on the reliability of this route, relying on just-in-time delivery. A single delay can halt factories and empty store shelves worldwide. The Red Sea's predictability has kept costs low and products affordable. Now, attacks threaten to dismantle this system, forcing a retreat to slower, less reliable shipping. The disruption exposes just how fragile our interconnected world really is. The stakes for global commerce couldn't be higher. With the Red Sea too dangerous, ships are detouring around Africa's Cape of Good Hope, a route that adds up to 2 weeks and thousands of miles. This means millions more in fuel costs, higher crew wages, and skyrocketing insurance premiums. These costs don't stay with shipping companies, they're passed down to businesses and ultimately, to you. The longer journey causes massive delays, creating backlogs at ports and container shortages in Asia. Companies relying on precise delivery schedules now face production slowdowns and empty shelves. The global fleet is stretched thin with not enough ships to keep up, leading to overbooked vessels and bidding wars for space. Freight rates have doubled or even tripled in weeks. The entire shipping network is under strain, and the world is paying the price. What was once a seamless flow of goods is now a logistical nightmare. The ripple effects are being felt in every corner of the global economy. The cost of moving goods has never been higher. The crisis in the Red Sea is driving up the cost of nearly everything you buy. When shipping costs triple, companies pass those expenses on to consumers, raising prices on everything from electronics to groceries. A smartphone, for example, now costs more to assemble and deliver, with each shipping step adding to the final price. Delays mean products arrive late, creating scarcity and pushing prices even higher. Industries from cars to furniture are feeling the pinch, with production slowdowns and longer wait times for customers. Sellers, facing uncertainty and limited supply, are raising prices across the board. The timing couldn't be worse. Just as global supply chains were recovering from the pandemic, this new shock has reignited inflation. Central banks are struggling to keep prices in check, but the supply-side disruption is making their job harder. The Red Sea crisis is a direct hit to your wallet, and the effects are likely to linger. The world is learning just how quickly a distant conflict can drive up the cost of living. The Red Sea crisis is hitting key industries hard, starting with energy. Oil and LNG shipments now take longer, raising fuel and heating costs, especially in Europe. Electronics are also at risk, as delays in microchips and components disrupt factories and drive up prices for everything from cars to computers. Car manufacturers are halting production and new vehicles are becoming scarcer and more expensive. Fast fashion is struggling, with seasonal collections arriving late and prices rising to offset losses. Everyday goods, furniture, toys, coffee, are delayed and costlier. Even food is affected. Spices, olive oil, and seafood are stuck at sea, with perishable items at risk of spoiling. Food waste increases, and imported groceries become pricier. The crisis is a stark reminder that our daily lives are tied to distant shipping lanes. When those lanes are threatened, the impact is immediate and widespread. The Red Sea's turmoil is showing up on store shelves everywhere. The world isn't standing by. Naval coalitions led by the US have deployed warships to the Red Sea, aiming to protect commercial vessels. These ships provide armed escorts and shoot down missiles and drones, but the vast area and persistent attacks make the mission daunting. Despite military efforts, most shipping companies still avoid the region, unwilling to risk billion-dollar ships and crew lives. Some nations have launched airstrikes on Houthi positions, but attacks continue. Diplomacy is in overdrive, with back-channel talks and UN resolutions seeking to pressure the Houthis and Iran to stop the attacks. The crisis is deeply tied to the wider Israel-Hamas conflict, making a quick diplomatic fix unlikely. Companies are scrambling for alternatives, using land bridges across the Middle East or shifting some cargo to air freight, though both are costly and limited. These are stopgap measures, not long-term solutions. The world is searching for a way around this choke point, but the options are few and expensive. Until security is restored, global trade remains at risk. Behind the headlines are the seafarers, nearly 2 million men and women, risking their lives to keep trade moving. Crews from around the world now face missile strikes, drone attacks, and the constant threat of boarding. The psychological toll is immense. Stress, anxiety, and sleepless nights are now part of the job. Unions are demanding hazard pay and the right to refuse dangerous routes, while some crews have been taken hostage. The crisis is worsening a labor shortage in shipping, as more seafarers consider leaving the industry. Longer detours mean extended time at sea, more fatigue, and new navigational hazards. The industry depends on these skilled workers, but their safety and well-being are under threat. Whether facing attacks or enduring grueling journeys, seafarers are bearing the brunt of this crisis. Their resilience is the invisible force keeping global trade afloat. The Red Sea crisis is a wake-up call about the fragility of our globalized world. A regional conflict has exposed a critical vulnerability in the supply chains that power modern life. The future is uncertain. Military, diplomatic, and economic solutions are all in play, but none offer quick fixes. For consumers, expect continued price swings and possible shortages. The era of cheap, predictable shipping is under threat, forcing companies to rethink supply chains and build in more resilience. The just-in-time model may give way to just-in-case planning, with more inventory and flexible routes. These changes could reshape global trade for years to come. The crisis is a reminder that the price of goods depends on the security of the world's trade routes. Until stability returns, the ripple effects will be felt everywhere, from ports to store shelves. The journey ahead will be longer and more challenging, but understanding the stakes is the first step toward a solution.